Alright, this is going to be video number 2 on the Crossen combustible cartridge forming kit. The reason I'm taking this in steps is because in this video I'm going to talk about if you want to make a paper combustible cartridge, you have to have combustible paper. I'm going to talk about the paper, and I'm going to show you what comes in the kit with a template and everything, and how to cut the paper needed to make the tubes for the cartridges. And first I'm going to discuss what I've come up with for paper. I kind of will show you what comes in the kit, and I'm doing something a little bit different, but this item alone, this whole idea, helps me a lot, and I'll explain it as we go. Okay, first step. If you're making combustible cartridges for a cap and ball revolver, you're going to need some sort of paper, okay? And most people say either use cigarette rolling papers or this hairdresser paper, which is, fairly thin stuff here. And the reason behind this, or why you would use these, the problem is they are super thin, and cigarette papers are basically combustible paper. They're super thin and light, and yeah, they'll burn up and not leave a residue in your gun. The only problem is working with these things. I know people do it, and I'm not saying it's wrong or bad, but for me, I've had no luck using this. The stuff is so crinkly in that, the cases are not firm, they wrinkle, So I've scrapped this idea of the rolling papers, and what I decided to use is nitrided coffee filters. Now I'm not going to make a video on this because there's about 50 of them out there. Everybody shows you how to do it. And there's two types of coffee filters. This one here, like this with a seam, these are kind of more expensive in a dollar store, not that many of them. I don't recommend using these because the seam, the shape, and not much of an area. These are the basket style, and when you get them wet and lay them out, they're a big round circle. You got more surface area to cut your patches from in that, and so go with these. But I got the both of them anyway. So what I do is I do everyone's process of soaking them in the solution of potassium nitrate, and there's tons of videos out there, so just look, and it's all the same process. You put so much in there, make a saturated solution, soak these in there, dry them out, and you're set and ready to go. And it does have a residue, like you can see the bits of the potassium nitrate on it. So what I do is once I make a bunch, I put them and store them in an airtight container, because I don't know if you can see it, you see like this dust. Okay, you want to seal them up. So that's what I'm using for the papers because I have better luck with it. Okay, so now let's talk about cutting the paper, the templates and the forms, and what you get with this kit. Okay, here's what you get in the Crossen kit for cutting out your templates. You get this clamp device with a rubber or plastic template. I think this is laser printed. Mounted here. You clamp it down, it holds this on top of the paper. He has this little laminate type cutting board. You see I've been using it. You see it's loose. Well, the way he designed all of this is get yourself some double-sided tape. And if that actually comes loose on me, I'll retape it down. Plus, he gives you a couple spares of this laminate stuff so that when you do scrape it up or it gets worn, you can go and replace it, which is cool. There's two of them that come with the kit. So how it works, okay, is you got two things. You got this here, which is for the body, and he puts this nut in there because if you look down in there, there's like a rubber band on 2 screws, and this can come off. You just pull that little rubber thing down. You use a screwdriver to do it. Get it over the boss. And see what that does is just go around that head and hold that in the recess. And that's what clamps down. Then you can take this, put it on the paper, and this will line up and clamp. And then you cut around this to make your base. So you're cutting 2 things, the body and the base cup thing, okay? Well, what I've done is I've decided, and this here is about a 3/4 inch nut. I decided to do something a little different, but what we'll do is we'll go and cut some of the bodies back. I'm going to slip this on. You just got to kind of wrangle that around the rubber and get it back on there. Okay, so we want to cut some paper. And this is where this whole thing helps me out a lot. There's one of my coffee filters folded up. And you just place it up under there. We'll see where we're going to go here. Kind of like this. Yeah. Probably if I'm more careful, I can get more out. But then I just take the X-Acto knife and go right along the base. And the thing about me with my problems with my hand shaking, I can't hold the template down and cut with the knife. So this thing here really helps me out in making a perfect cartridge. Okay, because I can make these cuts only using one hand. And that's what I need something. This part of the tool alone is invaluable to me, and probably I could figure out a way to modify this for other templates or make some kind of template this will hold down for doing paper patch bullets and that, which is the reason I've kind of come to a standstill in my paper patch bullet work. It's because of my difficulty in cutting an accurate patch or template. And then you just go around with the sharp. He uses a very sharp pocket knife and does it a lot quicker and more skillfully than me. But that's about it. Just got to make sure you get the cut all the way through or it will tear. What am I missing here? Right in the little corner there. That's what. All right, there we go. And watch, don't get your fingers caught in there. In there, you got 4 templates cut. And then what I do is I cut my pieces and put them all in a plastic bag. Because this, like I said, this nitrated paper is going to get stuff off. Put them and put them aside. Now, like I showed you, he went and had this to where you can pull this off, put this nut down, and then cut around the nut, and it will cut you a nice base plate or end cap, and it's hex shaped. I'll get one here. Yes, and when you use the nut, you'll end up with something, you know, it's a hex-shaped little thing. Well, what I decided to do is just get a hole punch. Okay, you can get these on Amazon, it's like $8, anywhere $4 to $8, I don't know. And get a hole punch 3/4 of an inch. That's what I do. And what I do is run it on my other filter. And even though it's a little bit more of an added expense, that didn't work out right. I'm going to line this up good. Let me get it lined up. Yeah, see with these filters, they got a ridge on there that's unusable. So what I do is just get it straight, get it up in there. Run a couple, and then get a 3/4 inch nice round bottom in there, and I just go along like that. It's quicker, and I use a 3/4 inch for the 44, and I got a little 5/8 hole punch for 36 caliber. And that's what I'll do, is just stamp out these, then again collect them and put them into the bag. Okay? And that's how you use this, or, you know, I'm modifying it by using something a little bit quicker and faster to get through here. To make your combustible paper components. Okay? And like I said, this thing in itself, to where I can manipulate it, use one hand, I ain't shaking or trying to hold the template with my bad hand. This saves me a lot of time and helps me make a better cartridge. Okay, so that's about it here. This idea that he came up with and this whole setup alone, to me, is worth getting the whole kit. Okay, so that's what we did to get the combustible cartridges. We're going to go on to the next video where we're going to start forming up some of the cases themselves.